Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a chip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying around the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these are the sports podcasts live as a pros course. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
Holy crap. We forgot about this thing here. The people forgot about us too. And you want to know why? Because like only one person asked me, where's the podcast at? Where's the podcast? Only one person asked where the Star 5 podcast at. What's going on, everybody? This is me, the mayor, that DJ named Ace 5, your mom's favorite fat guy from deepest, darkest Africa. And we are finally back after damn near a month hiatus because all of these people that are underneath me, have lives and shit while, little old me just works and kids and that's it. But thank y'all for sticking with us as always. Yeah. You're one. Yeah, good for y'all. But I'm still blaming y'all kids on this too. But anyway, what's up, everybody? First Lady, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to, of course, the starting five. Shout out to everybody who is holding it down. It's been like Dan said, it's been crazy. It's been crazy with hurricanes, with COVID, with just opening back up. So I'm gonna give a shout out to everyone who is just dealing with everything that's going on, and they still have they still have a hold of things and they're rising up.
Oh, cool. Old man JP, what's going on, man? Them porno windows them porn mirrors in the background are nice and clean. What's up?
What up? Of course, you got to be nice and clean, so fresh and so clean. What's going? Excuse me. What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I feel fresh. I feel very refreshed after a month. So looking forward to this conversation we're going to have today. A lot of shit going on.
Yeah, because we going to get into some shit, and some of y'all might not like us after this, but everybody loves the light-skinned dude. What up, TJ?
Wow.
It's like every
sunshine. Wow.
Yeah, every 10 years it's the light-skinned era, right? Every 10 years at least.
Wow. What's up, y'all? Honestly, I gotta say this has been one of the busiest summers I've ever had in a very long time. It's ridiculous the amount of shit going on every weekend that I have. But I'm not mad at it. It's a positive thing. I'm seeing family. I'm seeing friends. I'm seeing people that I hold close to me. So it's been all good. Been on the move a lot. Been a lot of places in a short amount of time. My daughter just moved to Cali. I know whoever's been keeping up with my page and stuff like that. My daughter's out in Cali, safe and sound. She's in her apartment. And she's doing well out there. And just a lot going on. But I'm here. Happy to see you guys. Happy to be back. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. Get into it. within this damn month, we missed the whole NBA playoffs, but we ain't going back that far. We going right to the finals where we're at right now.
Yes.
JP, I mean, I haven't, only because of time reasons, I haven't been able to catch them any games, but let the people know how these finals have been going and where you think it's going to go.
To be honest with you, Dan, I haven't watched the full game either because, like TJ said, I know what's going on, but like TJ said, catching up with friends and family and stuff like that there, it really becomes like on the back burner, getting out more now, especially after being in for a whole year of doing nothing. But about the finals. Right now, the Phoenix Suns are up 2-0, and they win tomorrow. Phoenix Suns win tomorrow night. It's over. To my opinion, it's basically over now, but it's more so over tomorrow night. Basically, what's going on? Basically, what's going on with the series is the better players, with the better team, with the better coaches winning. That's what's happening right now. You look at the CP3 playing at the highest level we probably ever seen him play at. Devin Booker, very, very good player, maybe the best premier shooting guard right now. And Dan, let's say something here real quick.
Well, you could say right now because he's the only one. He's one of a few that are premier as him left. So now.
Yeah. But can we stop this nonsense? Comparing him to Kobe? Their games are nothing alike. Nothing alike. And Devin Booker is a very good player, but come on, man. We talking about top 10 player of all time here. Devin Booker is Devin Booker. Let's put it that way. Devin Booker is Devin Booker. Don't compare him to a top 10 player in NBA history, please. Don't. But but
it's not
good.
time. It's not time for. I agree. It's not time for that yet.
It's nowhere near time.
But
then on top of that, there.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say on top of that, there too, they're getting good results from DeAndre Ayton, one of the premier big men in the game, in my opinion, and also Mikal Bridges, who hate mentioning that name, especially being that he's from Philadelphia, and we're not gonna get into the rest of that. But he had a great game the other day, scored 27 points. But the problem with Milwaukee is Giannis had 42 the other night. They didn't get that much production from others, Middleton, Holiday, and Lopez. They're going to have to step it up if they really want to be competitive in the series. They're already down 2-0. And I mean, it hasn't been no close games. I mean, it's been solid victories from end to end for the Suns. So for them to be competitive in the series, they're really going to step it up, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And TJ, when Mike Budenholzer is telling his team to play random, what kind of coaching is that, yo?
Well, I said this at the very beginning, before the series even started, that Monty Williams was going to outcoach Mike B. Plain and simple. Not by much, but he's just a better coach. As far as talent-wise, I think they're evenly matched. It's just Chris Middleton hasn't shown up. Where are you, Chris Middleton? Where are you? Drew Holiday shot like one for like 15 or 9 for like 20 or something the other night. They paid you $135 million, Drew. You did get him to the finals, but this is where the money is made at, brother. You know what I'm saying?
So wherefore art thou, Christopher?
So it's not as much as being, the better team. It's just the players that got them there haven't shown up in this series. And
Agreed.
And if the players show up and the players on the Phoenix show up, then we can have a series. You know what I'm saying? It can go 7. But right now, Chris Paul is a man on a mission. Devin Booker is riding his coattails. And everybody else. Chris Paul is like, jump on my back. Let's get it done. I don't see them as a repeat champion if they do win. But let me just say this. Long overdue. Chris Paul, right setting, right time, right place. LeBron's out. Curry didn't have Steph. Jamal Murray was out. All these factors you got to take into consideration when how the Phoenix Suns got where they are right now. I'm not taking anything away from them for getting their W's when they got them. And you know what? More power to them. I'm pulling for them, actually. I got no dog in this fight, but I'm pulling for the Suns to win.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't got no dog in the fight either. None of us really do, to be honest with you. But
Right.
yeah, I want to see these Suns take it because of Chris Paul, and Chris Paul is showing so far to have been that ultimate difference maker. And let's keep it real, from team to team to team that he's been to and been on. He outside of New Orleans, he has been that difference maker. Like the Clippers, never been to the playoffs like that before Chris Paul.
Nope. OKC.
OKC in what? In just a
OKC was
year?
a trash team. And when he left, they went right back to where they were. So
exactly.
Right back.
It didn't happen in Houston, but oh well, but it is what it is with there. But Chris Paul, I mean, huge difference maker, and that he's proving what veteran presence can do. But
Indeed.
veteran presence that is a quality all-star caliber player with talented pieces that, I mean, again, DeAndre Ayton is playing like one of the best centers in the league right now.
Easily.
Devin Booker is like a who can stop him kind of guy throughout this whole playoffs.
So Dan, it just goes to say, with a solid quality point guard, your team can go very far.
And let's give Monty Williams some credit too.
Yeah, we did
Monty
before,
Williams
as TJ did.
Coach.
As TJ gave him the credit
Monty
before.
Williams, and I like to see Monty Williams win this title because he's a very good man, just a good man, period. And what he's been through in his life, and everything, I'm rooting for him to get this championship, man. Him losing his wife and stuff in a car accident several years ago. You root for people like him, man, and wishing him the best, man. And I got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Giannis is shooting the ball, unlike my point guard, but we're not getting into that because it's been beating down the pad.
Oh my God!
It's still a sore. I was going to mention it. I had to mention it.
Mention who?
My point guard.
We're not wasting our breath
go
on
by
that.
no name.
That was like a month and a half ago. That don't even matter no more.
He's still creating a firestorm in this town every single day.
Ship him out. Ship him out.
It's nonstop. Roasting every single day.
Well, he earned it.
Well deserved.
He earned it. He earned it, man. But I will say we got to keep gang banging on and on and on in this topic, in this conversation. And we have to get into the unfortunates behind Ms Sakari Richardson. We have to get into the unfortunates behind that. Because as y'all know, the world found out she's now not competing in these Japan Olympics at all. I mean, at all. We have to get into. Somebody's got their speaker on because I heard him hear myself in the background. But oh well. But yeah, we now know because it's been played out since a couple weeks now since we've been gone. Sakari Richardson, winner of the 100-meter finals on the U.S. trials to make the team, unfortunately test positive for marijuana in her system. She cited that was the way she was dealing with the coping of the passing of her mother. Rest in peace to her mom. And the world took note of what went on. Everybody's seen it. Everybody started to feel a way because she made America feel a certain way after she won that final that I know, JP, you and we watched it live. She ran right after and ran to her grandmother and gave her like the biggest hug in the world. Like, I made it. Gave the world a sweet moment, beautiful moment. But then all the news happens. And I'm going to save my points of view for a minute, because I think this story to me is not even a fight on her end anymore because she owned up to what she did. She owned up to the mistakes. but it has been more of a fight between our people, and I'm pointing at us just like as we're representing the people in a way for this show today. But it's been more of a fight amongst our people of the what's right and what's wrong behind this. Knowing this grown woman made a mistake, owned her mistake. Katara, because you was out of the finals talk, I want some of your opinions on this, because I know you were posting on the I'm on Sakari's side, I'm on team this, and like a bunch of other people. But I want to hear your points of view on this first.
My thing is this, and this could have waited till everybody else. But my thing is this: she made a mistake. She owned up to it. Let's move on. I don't. A lot of people, and especially in the group that we're all in, were downplaying what she did. Now, let's take this in consideration. And just like Dan said, she lost her mom. She lost her mom, and I'm dealing with she probably was telling controlled to herself she wasn't smoking or anything because of trials. But once she lost her mom, and John, thank you for telling me how she found out that information. She probably broke down, because I am in my 40s. And if I lose my mom, I'm huddled in a corner for 6 weeks. So I'm not going to sit here and shoot like other people were. She let her team down. You know what? We all made mistakes. When I was in my 20s, I made some big mistakes. Now, for those of you who were in your 20s who didn't make any mistakes you guys get a sugarless cookie. That's great. But we're not talking about you right now. We're talking about, this happens. She
said a sugar-free cookie. Wow.
She still has, even if it's not in Olympic track, she still has a huge career in front of her. She can go in different avenues. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have no ill will towards her. I don't blame her. It is what it is. And I'll say my last comment till later if we come back on this, but that's all I have to say about that.
No, and to a point, like I agree with you, because all right, we all were 21. We all had to be 21 to still be here, right? We all have done something that could have been perceived as stupid at the time. I was still I was a bit of a square, but still trying to get out there and get in trouble because, hey, I just turned 21 or whatever. But I'm glad she took responsibility for what she did. I'm glad she owned up to the mistake she made. Now, everybody out there talking about, but it's just weed. Oh, there's mad states in this country that allow weed to be smoked and this, that, and the third. One, it shows me how much you even pay attention to track and field and sports. Two, it shows me how much you don't know nothing, because it's the Olympics. This is the world's games. So the world's federation, the IOC, is the ones to dictate the rules. Now, do I think that maybe they should update marijuana? Yeah, try to get like some of the rest of the world, because, some people still think it's the devil's lettuce and they still think it's the boogeyman in some sort of ways. But if they listen to a lot of these athletes who've been for the last decade plus out there doing panel discussions, doing conferences about the medical benefits behind marijuana, then it might behoove them to allow these athletes to use it to heal up and things of that nature. Instead of saying these hard opioids are good, these opioids are okay. The IOC should eventually go back and look at this and say, all right, and it's not because they held the best athlete the best athlete for America, from that one discipline in track and field out. No, it's because she broke a rule. She broke a rule, and people are defending her like she's not supposed to take accountability, which she did. Like, what people are going so hard for, they did her wrong. They did. No, the only person that did wrong was the person that owned up to her mistake. She broke a rule. That's it. JP, I know you were big on Yeah, but it was the reason why she did it, which was all good. Which was, I mean, I understand it too. Everybody copes differently. Everybody
I was about to say that.
Right. So we don't know. We don't know. I'm gonna throw it to JP and then you can go TJ. But we don't know. We don't know the environment that she was in. You know, people could have coped and turned to alcohol. People do that. There's other things. There's friends. This is why I always, when we talk about mental health things and stuff like that, I always preach like, yo, have a friend to talk to. Have somebody to talk to. You know, something that keeps you away from some of the perils that can lead you to something worse. Like, we should be thankful that she didn't turn to harder drugs.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
We should be thankful for that. You know, but
and she still came out first, even though well, anyways, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
No, you're good. Go ahead. What were you saying? Go ahead.
I mean, she still came out great for what she did. I mean, she did what she smoked, like a lot of people on Twitter, and I'm just laughing. I'm not taking their shit seriously. They're like, dang, she smoked and she still came out one. Good for her, you know. And they were right. You know, getting an argument. They're like, I am a fan, you know. So it's that's why I'm like, okay, I've learned, and all of us, I'm sure, I've learned not to sit here and critique and judge others, knowing that if I was in the same position, I probably would have fared much worse. So,
yeah,
understood. That's it.
But just, I got to put the homies' comments up there because just to show that it's so cold out there. I just want the support she got if I ever failed a drug test. Like, that's how hard people were riding for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny. It's funny. It's just a funny joke but in some respects, like, I get it because it's like, y'all don't ride hard for nobody that's a non-celebrity like that. You ain't out there stumping for your people. People ain't stumping for their peoples at their jobs that they got fired for. You know, a lot. You might be the outlier in this situation, but who's outside the factory is saying, yo, free my nigga Jamel because he got popped?
My point is this. No. This is my point. When there are some of us, and maybe we're not loud on social media because that's not how we are. There's some of us who do support things. If I see someone and they got fired from whatever situation, especially the issue I went when I was working in the hospital, I would have been like, hey, keep your head up, do what you got to do. I don't care what you got, you know.
100% like that.
Circumstance.
Yes.
Circumstance. Yeah. So I there are people who ride hard for the people, you know, especially if it's some foolishness reason why they got fired from their job. Even if it was like there were some people that in my job who got fired because they did smoke or whatever, and I had no opinion about it whatsoever. She was always cool with me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. There are people like that. Are they loud on social media? At times, no, we're not. We got things to do. So, but anyways, go ahead.
No, true indeed. But JP, I mean, you know, I ain't gonna be outside your job because you got popped for Blue Chew. I'm just saying. I said I'm not gonna be outside protesting at your job to get JP his job back because you popped for Blue Chew.
Yeah, my take on the whole Sha'Carri thing was I understand exactly where people are coming from. First off, number one, let's go back. The biggest problem I have with this whole thing is that damn reporter who told her that. First off, number one, it's not your place to tell a young lady that her mother just passed away. That's up to her handler, her camp, or her family. Not you to sit there and say, oh, your mother passed away. That is very, very inconsiderate of what they did to her.
100%. That's like playing firsties on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dan. It's like playing firsties. I mean, come on, man. Let her family tell her that. Let her coaches tell her that. Let the people of her inner circle tell her that. You have no damn business telling somebody their mother passed away, especially when you're not in the inner circle. That was wrong. That's number one. Number two, I was one of the ones who defended her, yes, that she should be able to run. My point has always been, you could drink alcohol. You can come to the starting line drunk. You can smoke cigarettes. What is more damaging, cigarettes or smoking weed? People have died of smoking cigarettes. I don't know anybody who has died of smoking some cannabis. Number three, I understand the rules are the rules, though. I do understand that. She broke the rules, like you said. She owed up to it. The rules do need to be amended, though. They do need to be amended. Number four, her camp should have done a better job with her. I feel as though they should have. You know, I put some of this on her camp, too. You know, that they should have done a better job.
I can't say
well,
that.
let me ask you this. And this, I don't know the rules of the why were they the drug test should have been before she even took part in the trials. Why did they be like, oh, you won, but you feel that kind of is counterproductive. You know what I'm saying?
They do that. They do that to test people to see if they were on something. They test, like Brianna Rollins said, she got tested 70 times a year. Like, you know, she's banned for 5 years, which was a travesty too. But you know, they test. I mean, they can come to your house anytime and test.
Okay,
test
so
you.
it's
they let you know. Yeah.
So it's like a job because like my
it's what you signed up for. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's what you signed up for.
But as far as Sha'Carri goes, she's going to be okay. Like I said, like I've been saying, she's going to make a lot of money in Europe. She's going to run the rest of this year. She's going to run a fast time. And let's understand something else too. She definitely was one of the favorites. Definitely. But you had Shelly Ann Fraser Price, who went 10.63. Elaine Thompson's coming back into form. So, I mean, she had some formidable competition. Was she going to be on the podium regardless? She's going to get a medal? Oh, yeah. Is she one of the favorites for the gold medal? Oh, yeah. Do I think Sha'Carri could run a 10.6? Most definitely. She could run a 10.6. So she was definitely one of the favorites. But the young lady has a bright future. She'll get ready for the Worlds is next year, 2022. Worlds again, 2023. Then Olympics, 2024. She could dominate the next 3 years. You know, but then again, you never know because track and field's a funny sport. You could have this great year and then, you know, you fall off the map. But I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see that with her though. She's been running fast since 2000. Really, she started coming to her over high school, but her breakout year was 2019 at LSU. You know, so I think she's going to be around for a while. As a result of this, she has way more fans. So I've been following her Twitter for a long time. Her Twitter is hilarious. I mean, she's very, very confident young lady. She already said, sorry, I can't be your Olympic champion in 2021, but I will be your world champion in 2022. She's a very, very confident young lady, as she should be.
Dan, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I pressed mute on. I had mute on my mixer and StreamYard. But on that though, her Twitter came up because you know that's how the internets do, and they pulled out all her negative tweets, and people were talking about. And in my opinion, rightfully so, because we do it to everybody else. People were talking about, well, how come nobody's dragging her for this? How come nobody's dragging her for that and that and that? Because she made like homophobic comments. She made like homophobic tweets and a bunch of other different like negative comment like tweets and stuff.
Oh, when were the tweets
but you know what?
They were, it's just like everybody else. They dug
but no.
them.
I get it. But when were the homophobic tweets? I'm just questioning. When were the homophobic tweets?
I'm not. They said that they were from years before. Just like how they like how they do to every else.
Okay, but I get what you're saying, Dan.
But see, I separate the two. This has nothing to do. Those tweets have nothing to do with what happened to her.
Right. No, I'm with you.
We can separate the two issues of that. And see, not you all, but we like to be distracted. We like to bring everything else in instead of getting to the main reason of what happened. We love to do that.
Right.
You know,
right.
And
that's the only reason why. Hold on.
This might be a little bit of controversy right here. But you know, as far as Little Nas X thing, I mean, he can do what he wants, but hey, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know, as far as that goes, as far as he goes.
I only brought it up because people are bringing it up, and like you were just speaking specifically on the positive, but people tried to throw the negative shit out there too.
Right, and it had nothing to do with her about the running.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And even okay, yeah. She made the positive tweet. Yeah, I'm just stating how people were throwing shit out there. Not saying that had to do with it was because you know they try to play the. Rest in peace, George Floyd. But they tried to make, how they tried to make George Floyd, he's a criminal. He was a criminal because of his past and what he did back before the incident happened.
It was ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? And pulling old stuff up like that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they did to her.
Yeah.
That's what they tried to do. That's what they tried to do.
It's irrelevant.
People just fly.
To her and running and her doing what she's doing. It's irrelevant.
Right, but see, with that, just like you said, Dan, with that, the way people keep doing that over and over, it's getting old. People are like, and let's move on, please. So it doesn't have an effect. Now, if she was the first one that do it, then it would have had a more of effect. But since a lot of people have these weird tweets in the past, granted, the director of, who is it, Snyder, who had those weird tweets in the past. This is nothing. I'm just looking like, okay, and let's move on.
But the same thing, though, Katara. You want to bring up Zack Snyder, right? They dug 10, 11 years back for those tweets when Twitter was the wild, wild west and held that against him. So like JP said, well, what's good for the gander, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, if you wanted to try to put pressure on her like that and quote unquote stop sponsorships and things like that, then this thing goes both ways. It goes both ways. I get
what you're saying, but I'm saying it's since there's been so many people who've done things like that in the past, it's getting old where people are ignoring it. But
100%.
Okay, we'll move on. No,
100%, GJ. Like it can be perceived as what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but I mean, it's also sometimes, like JP mentioned, it's irrelevant to bring up when it has nothing to do with.
Right. It's called moving the goalposts. It's called moving the goalposts. And that's what they were trying to do. One, I'm not going to judge how anybody grieves in losing a parent. I've never lost a parent. I have friends that lost parents, and they all dealt with it in their own way. It's never easy losing a parent at 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God I'm damn near 50 and I still have both of my parents. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can't say that. A lot of people lost their parents early, so I am not going to judge the way she grieved and how she handled it. Two, shout out to Nike for not dropping her at the drop of a hat due to the fact that she did get caught up in this maelstrom and understand the situation, because usually how that goes is the sponsors drop off and everybody else drops off. So at least she's still getting a check. You know what I'm saying? As going back to everybody who's saying she smoked weed and she still finished in the top 3 in her runs, which is bananas. People want to know what type of weed she was smoking, because for her to be so productive after smoking was bananas on top of that. But
she's great regardless. She weed, no weed. She's probably gonna run a fast time.
She's definitely channeling the essence of FloJo with the hair and the nails and everything. So we're going to be continuing to hear from her. She's definitely going to market and promote herself and put her out there. You're going to see her on more commercials, more ads, more TV time, more FaceTime. She's going to do more interviews about this incident and situation in the future. You're going to know that she's going to be a household name if she ain't already a household name. She's going to be up there with Simone Biles as one of the top athletes to ever grace the platform if she does what she's supposed to do.
She's brought, in my opinion, she's brought more attention to track and field than anybody since Usain Bolt. In my opinion, since Bolt in his prime back in 2008, 2012, the focus on track and field has not been that way since Sha'Carri, because she has the charisma, she has the personality, she has everything. She is a mega star.
it has the potential to. I'm gonna use one of your words. Has the potential to be a megastar. It's all about how she climbs out of this. It's
She'll
all
be
about how
fine.
she
I'm not
climbs
worried
out of
about
this.
Shakari. She's fine. She'll be fine.
And to TJ's point of she can be as it's going to take wins and domination. It's going to
gonna
take
take
wins
wins.
and domination, and it's domination because Simone Biles dominates gymnastics. Not like she is the greatest ever, that quick, but it's because of all the gold she was able to compile. You know what I'm saying? Sakari, I mean, with track and field, like JP said, it's one of those things that it's like, it's almost like football. Any given Sunday, any given race,
You
anything
fast
can
today,
happen.
slow tomorrow.
No, but also too, and because I, mentioning this because me and JP had this conversation before. It's like if you come out the blocks the way she does, and has like that kind of slowish start after your first 30 meters, a lot of the best in the world can take advantage of that and stay on top of you and can't let you recover. And again, we're talking about the world scope. Not just America.
She needs a Usain Bolt type dominance where she was just so far in front of the field.
Get the real superstardom for track and field. Yes, because one of the things that JP, when mentioning it, that she drew so many eyes to track and field was, she drew a lot of people to track and field only because of this controversy. And
well, even before. Okay.
I was going to say only because of this controversy. And before that was because of the sentimental moment that I mentioned before that she gave the world.
People were criticizing her hair and the nails.
No, like TJ said, even before she was getting that in, when she pointed to the clock, when she drew people in, she drew her home in. She drew a lot of people in before that. Right. Before that though.
But Katara.
Yes.
People who were outside of track and field didn't really pay attention to that till this incident right now.
So you saying the average fan? The average, or as I called them, talking to somebody, the fair weather fan. Right.
Who, in all respects, do. I have no issue with it. You're supporting the black woman who's doing big things. Do that. But don't try to come out and start speaking on issues and stuff when you don't know how the sport works, how the situation works, how even the Olympics work. Chill or go chill. And I'm not even gonna really try to say you can't, because I hate when people say, oh, if your team ain't in it, you can't talk. No, we talk. This is what we do here. I can talk about
it. About the ILC.
Hold on, because we're not gonna go back to ILC real quick. The Fairweather fan is now talking about, let's boycott the Olympics because she couldn't get in because she smoked weed. No. So that's what I feel.
Nobody's boycotting the Olympics though.
JP,
even if they say they talk, they just talk a lot.
JP, what was the name? Gabby something, the woman that came out and said, thank you, Gabby Thomas. She came out and made a post saying, like paraphrasing, like, but what about the rest of us black folks who made the Olympics?
Exactly.
Like, why
That's
not
what I'm
watch
saying.
it?
And let me say something about.
But
nobody's
doing that.
Let Katara say, hold on.
10,000. Okay, sorry, no, real quick. No, they can say what they want. You can't take everybody seriously, guys. Let's move on. Like I said, when someone posted that in the group, nobody's boycotting. People are still going to watch it on Twitter. They're going to do the highlights on Twitter. NBC owns they don't own the Olympics, but all their channels are still going to show it. It's not that big a deal. They're still going to have mass support. Don't worry about that, y'all. Don't worry about this little bit when there's this little bit. That's it. Nothing is going to change from the NBC. I can tell you that now because there were other Olympics where crap happened and people still support it. It's still going to be fine. But everything's going to be copacetic. You
just went off, but I was pointing this to the fair weather fan, the one who never paid attention to it before. The person who never paid attention to it before, all of a sudden is the track aficionado know-it-all because one
make
person
the most noise.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know that.
That's what I'm talking about. The real Qatar. What you saying? Nobody? No, the real, like us here, the real. Well, you said you don't really watch the Olympics, so I'm not trying to throw shade on you. Right?
I mean, like, no. I catch highlights. I don't sit and turn on the thing like, oh, let's go watch it. No, I just catch.
No, but and I'm just saying that's the difference. We sit and watch them shits. If I can catch them live, I'm watching them shits because most of these are sports that you only get to see 4 times a year, unless a channel like NBC is showing it special or ESPN is showing it special. But I'm just saying that it's the fair weather fan that's talking and trying to make, they're trying to be the loudest in the room.
Right. No, I get it. Yo, that's chill. What I'm saying.
Yo, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, chill.
Ignore that. Right.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to do. But I'm just
right. Okay. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I was going to say to piggyback off Dan was saying and stuff. People need to understand too. This is not the USA, like you said, U.S. Track and Field Association. It's not the U.S. Olympic Committee. This is the IAAF, International Athletic Track and Field Association, the IOC. This is beyond America. Stop thinking about America and why she's not running at the Olympics. This is international rules and laws. We just think, America, why they letting her run? It has something to do with that. It has to do with the world. That's like this petition going around to let Sha'Carri run. I understand this. She's not getting in. This is not an American problem. This is international law, rules.
Right.
They don't understand this.
Hold on a second, Qatar, because the one actually where the U.S. counts in the one decision is leaving her out of the relay. But as track heads, we understand why she would be left out of the relay. She probably would have been left out of. She probably would have been left out of the relay even if she made it.
Mm-hmm. Oh nah, she'd have been on that relay team. If she made it, she would be on that relay team. You can rest assured of that. Because they really need her. With her not on that relay team, they don't stand a chance against Jamaica. I'm telling you that right now.
Right, yeah, Jamaica's
and it's going to be hard to win with her on the relay team.
Right. No, you're right. Now, and John is correct. I'm just getting back to what Dan's saying. What my point of saying that was, you have to, in everything that you do, you have to ignore these fair weather people. Do not give them credit, because that's what I've seen too many people done. And I'm not talking about Dan, so everyone chill. Do not give anybody those credit. Let them talk. You ignore it and you move on. But to John's, but changing this up. To John's point, Jamaica's about to win that. Let's move on.
And it goes back to TJ.
Oh yeah, they're going to win.
It goes back to TJ because JP was talking about international rule. TJ had a point on the IOC.
Yes. The IOC reminds me of the NCAA in terms of rules and how strict they are. And they should take a page from what the NCAA is doing in terms of not paying the athletes, because Olympic athletes could get sponsorships and stuff like that, but amending the rules to the times. You know what I'm saying? These times are not the early 1980s or the 70s, you know what I'm saying, where there was less people and the competition was completely different. This is a completely different time, a completely different era, and the rules should change. I know it's not easy, but the rules should change with the times as moving forward. And are they lagging? Yes, but I mean, how many people really? I mean, you're talking about the cleanest athletes in the world. These people don't want nothing foreign in their body, regardless, due to the fact they're performing in the Olympics. So that's a big deal as well. So
on that point, though, of rules changing, TJ.
Yeah,
this is why I mentioned like things in the comments, like when JP made the post in the group about the IOC needs to change. I agree, rules need to change. They have to table that for the next go round.
Exactly,
because we got to remember, this is too late because they already pushed the Olympics back a year.
Right,
it's been far too late.
Right. They can't make a special situation for her. They need to make it a blanket for everybody. And that needs 100%. To be tabled. And that, like you said, that needs to be tabled, I guess, in the next 3 years, because the Olympics got pushed back to this year. So they have a lot on their plate, a lot to digest. And that's going to be, I'm sure that's going to be a hot topic But you got to look at the demographics of the IOC. Are there any young folk on that panel? If it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a problem. Same thing with the NCAA. Was an older generation of people making the rules for the younger folks, and they're just out of touch, or they're set in their ways.
It's what I say about politics, TJ. It's what I say about politics all the time. I think that things should resemble the times as far even in your representation. Right. I totally agree.
Right. So real quick. So real quick, my last point is, I don't know how these people get appointed to these positions in the IOC, where they come from, but we need to promote the younger demographic, the younger generation, and get on these boards and get on these panels and these committees, so they can make decisions for us or for them, for their generation. So that's also got to take place, because these people are holding on to these positions for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Just
and
like
you know what?
Positions.
Yeah, it's not representative of what's going on right now, and it leads to a lot of frustration. So yes.
I was going to add as well. You know, look, all this stuff was on Sha'Carri and stuff. People overlooking. We had a great Olympic trials. This looks like it's going to shape up to be one of the strongest Olympic teams we have seen since when the United States was dominating back in the especially in the 80s and stuff. 84, 88 was pretty good. And my thing is this here. You've had great performances. Sidney McLaughlin broke the world record in the 400-meter hurdles.
In the hurdles, yes.
You have Rob Benjamin. What's the guy 110-meter hurdle runner? His name is skipping my mind. He came within 1/100th of a second of breaking the world record in the 110-meter hurdles. It's 1280. He went 1281. You've also had Gabby Thomas, ran 2161. Only one person in history ran faster than 200 meters, which was FloJo. You had the new phenom coming up, Athang Mu, by way of Trenton, New Jersey, 800-meter runner, heavy favorite to win the 800 meters. You've had this. You got Trayvon Bromell in the 100 meters. You got Noah Lyles in the 200 meters. You got Michael Norman 400 meters. You got Rob Benjamin 400 hurdles, and you got this
the name drops.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me get this one thing. And you have the new sprint phenom now, Arian Knighton, who broke Usain Bolt, smashed Usain Bolt's world junior record. He's the youngest Olympian since 1972, and also not only that, he went 19.8. He's a favorite to win a medal, he possibly even gold. So we have these great athletes with track and field. We need to get behind them and support them. I understand what happened to Sha'Carri. People are upset, but we do have great athletes that we still be supporting. And these fair weather fans need to stop with this bullshit, because track and field is a great sport. Support the sport and support the athletes.
And that's what I was going to go back to. It goes back to the fair weather fan. Nobody's going to know those names you mentioned, because track and field isn't as big as football, basketball, and baseball, and even hockey to a point. Nobody's going to know those names because nobody's putting themselves out there like that. None of those cats are putting themselves out there the way Sha'Carri did. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Nobody's doing that. So that's where, again, the fair weather fans need a person like yourself to name drop all of those people, on occasions and stuff, to learn. If Sha'Carri brought you into this world to make you pay attention, then you should do your due diligence and start looking up athletes and start looking up.
Right,
Hell,
but Dan, this is you're
hell, to
preaching.
be honest
You're,
with you-
you're preaching to a brick wall. This is what I'm
No,
saying.
we're preaching.
and
We're
I
preaching
get
to
it.
our audience.
I know.
Yo,
I get it.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Listen. I get that, but what I'm saying is, at one point or another, you're going to have to ignore these fair weather friends, and you do what you got to do. You
But
keep paying attention to them; they keep going
But
on and on.
Katara.
I keep telling you that. I don't
Katara.
listen.
We're listening to you.
That's great. I don't care what they say. Okay, I've ignored the whole thing situation. I know people right now that if I sit here and go hard on the Olympics or go hard on the track team, or which I'm going to post when they do good, they're gonna just they're just gonna do they're gonna learn. You gotta just be like, look, all right, let them. They're gonna talk anyway. You can now. Some may learn, but some aren't. You just got to move on from that. That's all I gotta say.
If you listen to what I just said again, it co-signs everything you just shouted once again. It co-signs everything. Where I said it needs people like JP to teach people how and who these people are. Because again, these athletes aren't putting themselves out there like, here I am, like beating their chest. Sakari with the hair, the nails. Like, these are things that brought people's nostalgia back of FloJo. They brought that era back of, oh shoot, we haven't seen this since then. Yo, let me check out track. I'm just saying, besides being down for the controversy, of course, yes, ignore them because it don't matter. We're talking about it because these are talking points that has been happening while we were gone. Ignore them, fine. I get you. But it's again, track and field still needs that type of person to bring more eyes to the sport so they can learn about the names that JP mentioned. So if you're going to be don't just be a fair weather fan. Actually want to learn more than, yo, I just heard about that person. I'm just rooting for that person. Oh, that person didn't make it. Well, then fuck the rest. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's not a matter of paying attention to the people who are the loudest, who are trying to be the loudest. It is forget them. But if you're going to ride a wave, why don't you get in the wave and be a part of the wave and actually absorb the sport that you are now fond of because of this one person? That's all I was saying. It's not no attention to those people.
I was going to say real quick as well, even within our group, we have people in our group. I mean, I don't know shit compared to them.
You don't have to name drop. We know. We don't have to name drop. We know that.
Hold on. Let me finish, man. Let me finish. Like my boy John. And of course, we have Olympic gold medalists in the group. That's what I was going to say. So they know more than damn near anybody. They read it at the highest level. That's all I was going to say.
Shout out to my boy XL, who also is a track coach. I competed in it. I didn't run. But let's move on. We got to get to this name, images, likeness thing because TJ actually set up the perfect segue before we kept rambling on about this shit. NCAA finally allows athletes to make money off their names, images, and likenesses. They can get paid, but we're not paying them. That's what this kind of deal is. But fair is fair. It's at least something because we all know. We mentioned it here. JP and I has been doing it for as long as we've been doing this show. How much we talk about the NCAA and think they need to change. We don't like them because of their dumbass rules, this, that, and the third. Some people take it as it's a portion of slavery, whatever, yada, yada, yada. All that bullshit, all that bullshit. But these kids, and specifically, like, I don't remember the kid that the player's name, but I think, shout outs to Kev Waters. I think he posted it in the group about the kid from Mississippi State who was asking for $10,000 for like a Pee Wee football camp appearance. Yo, if that's what you think your asking price is for, that's what you think your worth is for, which we're going to talk about in another topic after this. And there's one more surprise topic I forgot we forgot to add in there. It happened while we were gone, but if you got that asking price, go ahead, fine. Ask for whatever you want. That doesn't mean that they got to pay you. That doesn't mean anybody's got to book you. That doesn't mean you're going to get that money. But you can ask for whatever the hell you want. And I'm glad that
there's going to be a lot of reality checks
Oh, absolutely. exactly. 0.001 cents and shit. But I'm happy for this though. I'm happy for this though because in some respects it brings equality to these athletes because, as we all know, you could go to a big name school. Say you go to Florida State as just first school off the top of the head. Say you go to Florida State. You are not an athlete, but you got a full-time course schedule. You can go then work a full-time job, making whatever money that the job offers. And that's okay. But because you were an athlete, you couldn't work. So now you can work. Again, now you can do these bookings. Now you can do these signings and things like that. Now you could do appearances. You could do commercials. This is great because now you actually have a job. Like I mentioned before, when I had broke down my whole how they can pay kids, now you're creating tax-paying citizens because you're allowing them to go out and earn. You know, I'm sure that there's rules that set up in place for as long as it's not between season time and all that stuff and practices, you can do as you please. They're allowed to work just like the regular student can.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm cool with it.
Let me say this. You are what the market dictates if you're that number one athlete. As far as people below that number one athlete that everybody's talking about, you
right? I wish.
You have to know your worth. You have to be realistic about what your worth is. You want to do a camp, fine. You want to charge $50 for the camp, or you want to charge $1,000 for the camp. You will know right away what you can charge, or if the camp is going to be free at all. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these kids, I know they were the best in their town, the best in their city, the best, on their team. This is a national stage now. You know what I'm saying? And people are going to pay you on the prospect of you living up to your potential. Get that check and make sure it's guaranteed, first and foremost. Make sure your money's right before you sign that contract. Or else you're going to be paying these people back for a very, very... you might start hearing 360 deals for these kids. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So in terms of that, know your worth. And, the market's going to dictate what you can and can't get. Also, shout out to Master P's son for signing a $2 million deal to use his name, image, and likeness. This kid, I haven't seen him play ever. I don't know. I didn't know Master P's son was nice like that. For him to get a $2 million deal off the strength of that, phenomenal. Get your money, like you said, Dan. Get your money. Get your money now, because God forbid you could have a career-ending injury. You see it all the time in college, especially in college football and stuff like that. Get your money. Get your money now and set yourself up somewhat good and continue to get your education and master that.
You mentioned Master P's son. One, JP would probably know better, but I'm hearing he's not as nice like that. But also, two, I also heard some things that is like a shell company that's not really like a real... I forgot the company's name. We could look it up. And I heard their website is kind of bootleg. But so this could be just the way that Master P is paying his son, which is all well and good. Yo, like you said, get your money. If that's what the market is calling for you, that's the freak off. Salute to you. All that good stuff, man. Get your shit.
Also, the NCAA had to compete with all these other leagues, and the G League paying their players now, and this high school tournament league that are paying these kids almost $500,000 or something like that to participate in these leagues. And they're going to lose a lot of players to this because the NCAA don't pay nobody. Their gift to you is getting a free education. I'm not knocking that. It's very expensive, but it ain't worth millions of dollars like these kids are getting. So
I think some kids are going to get paid though, because of jersey sales, autographs, endorsements. Absolutely. They're going to get endorsement deals that the elite.
Everything that the NCAA was getting money off of, these kids will get money off. EA Sports now, if they come out with college games, they got to contact all these kids because they're using their names and likenesses to play these sports. So now everybody's got to cut a check.
We'll see. But here's the difference. Hold on. Because you mentioned the EA Sports thing.
Right.
here's the big deal in all of this. Okay, you can do name, image, and likeness, but guess what? I'm the University of Alabama. You want to use my uniform in this jersey? Now you got to pay me $100 million to use that in your game. So people jumped out the window.
I'm sure they're getting a check from EA anyway for just using the university.
Right, but but people jumped out the window wanting that trash, and I called it trash because NCAA football back in the day, you can score 100 to 78 in a game, no defense whatsoever. But people loved that shit. I hated it. It was the most glitchy game to play online. But that's a factor within it that people forget. Oh yeah. Oh, NCAA might have to protect. No, the schools can now charge. There's 126 Division I schools out there. All of them charge EA Sports $20 million each. Can they afford that?
No.
And that's what I'm talking about, because that can happen. JP, you was about to say something. I'm sorry for cutting.
Yeah, I was going to say these kids still going to make their money, and we'll see how long these leagues are going to last. The G League, like, it's going to be around. This new high school league, where they're getting high school juniors and stuff. One, Jalen Lewis just signed yesterday for I think $1 million or $500,000 or whatever. We'll see how long it's going to last, though. Like that league, at least.
And I would expect an answer from you like that, because you are big on the high school athlete going to college, part because of your love just for the college game. No,
I'm not. I feel as though players should. This is how I feel. I think players should finish high school, but they should have the option of going to the pros, because I know what the NCAA is. I feel as though players should at least finish high school. That's the way I feel.
I agree.
I mean, people got to make their own decisions. But
I agree with you there. But in
as far as conversations,
about this, JP, in past conversations about this, you've mentioned
back
how
in the day,
you didn't want it to hurt the college game.
Back in the day, yeah. But when I did my research and looked to see what was going on, these kids should turn pro. There's no reason why LeBron James had. LeBron James didn't need college. Kevin Garnett didn't need college. They should have gone straight. They did what they did. They didn't need it.
So the flip side of this, right? Now that these kids are getting paid off of this, what happened to all the titles that were taken out? Like Reggie Bush lost his Heisman. The Fab Five got championship.
Restore.
Are they going to reinstate them? Are they going to reinstate them back, going back that far?
Look, it's the NCAA, petty, I think, but I think that they should restore them the same way that the state of California reverted all the weed cases and people that were locked up. I think get them out, restore them. Put that banner back up in Michigan.
And you know something else too about this whole thing, like you said about restoring stuff, which they should do. I mean, it's ridiculous, because they have like these cats was taking some informants. I can't even get the name out.
Performance enhancing drugs.
Performance enhancing drugs. That's what they act like. Like, everyone is super deep. Man, stop.
So
they took a little bit of money because they're broke.
So they should do what Major League Baseball did with the Negro League and incorporate all their stats and everything.
Yeah, because the Negro League dominated the regular white baseball. Yeah.
Right.
They should. And you know what? Shout outs as well to really the people who really brought this to the forefront from the beginning back in the 70s and 80s, and that was UNLV and Jerry Tarkanian. He was the one that really.
Don't forget Ed O'Bannon. Ed O'Bannon was big on this.
Yeah, but Ed O'Bannon was before. But understand something. Jerry Tarkanian and UNLV was before Ed O'Bannon. And remember this as well. Ed O'Bannon was going to go to UNLV, but UNLV had those sanctions, if you remember, after Larry Johnson and them left. So that's why he went to UCLA instead of UNLV.
Wow.
But, I wanted to give props to Ed O'Bannon, though, because I give you that, JP, but Ed O'Bannon's case was the one that put it on shot
it did. It took it over. It shot it to the moon. It shot it to the moon.
I want y'all before we get into Rachel Nichols, Katara Cosby's back. I want you to talk about that.
Wait.
Wow.
I'm more on Rachel Nichols, but okay. TJ and John, I stayed quiet about that, and let me tell you why. I did not really pay much attention when he was in court, and then when he was released, I'm still reading up on that. And I need you guys to come and correct me. He was released. Was it on a technicality?
Yes.
Technicality, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can he get? I'm just asking. So the Cosby and the Cosby and these other pro woke fans don't jump on me because I'm not in the mood. Can he get charged again? I'm just asking. All right.
So let me. I my bad because I had to run to my door real quick. But just set the table. Yeah, Bill Cosby got released because of a technicality. Because of the technicality in the case. The technicality was there was a deposition that he had. About 15 years ago, where he settled most of these cases that were put against him civilly. And he gave testimony within these things, stating things like he did give these women drugs, but also just sent them home and things like that. This is what was being said. Stuff like that was being said in the testimony. I don't know it all. Plus, also, we weren't there to even know if he did just send them home. But the point was that because the thing was sealed 15 years ago, the thing was settled 15 years ago. And it was totally different prosecutors from who was on the case now. The prosecutors that was on the case now used said testimony from back then that was not supposed to have been used in this case. To where he was never supposed to go to jail unless they brought new stuff to him. And unfortunately, because to my understanding, because when the stuff came out, when the stuff came out and the court case happened and all that, those women only had but limited time to file those charges before statute of limitations is up.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically right now, I believe, and I'm not no legal expert, but I believe he can't be charged again on those cases, and it would have to be something totally new.
Because he previously was charged on them. So
right.
Okay.
And then
so no double jeopardy.
Right. And then too, if you look at this like this too, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years. He also served the 3 years.
So time served.
So it could be time served and out. So I know a lot of the controversy behind it is like everybody's, you let a rapist go, you let a rapist go. One, we wasn't in the case to even know if he was a rapist. The charges proved him to be a rapist, and hey, he probably was. I have no dog in the fight. I just wanted our opinions on this. I just wanted opinions. I have no dog in the fight. So he probably was a racist. A rapist. He might have, Quaaludes at the time was the party drug of choice at the time. But when you look at things, again, you put things in the past in today's lens. Wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong no matter how you put it. Wrong is wrong no matter how you put it.
And I was going to say that because how bad did they want to prosecute him that they reached back to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't go within the full extent legal limit of the law. They went outside of it. They had information obtained that nobody else knew about, figuring they weren't going to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And they did.
Right. I have a question about that, though, since you guys explained it to me. Then nobody noticed that during court? That's major. Those of us who took a law class, a government class, a law class in high school and even in college,
but
that is major.
Katara, if you're his legal team, you're not thinking they're pulling something from a sealed case that they haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? This was a sealed case.
Too, like Katara said, how much of a mess it is. The prosecutor needs to be investigated. That judge.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Because that's like there should be I'm sure maybe the Cosby team wants to let this go.
Right.
But even still, I think the Cosby team also could have a good case against them and possibly get those people disbarred because they did those underhanded tactics.
That's another thing. They need to be whoever needs to report them, because that's major. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's like 101. You do not take a sealed case unless. So number one,
if they did that to Cosby, then who else did they do that to if they really wanted to prosecute? You have to start looking at all their past convictions now.
Right, and the board needs to know. Forget that the Cosbys don't have to do anything about that. The board needs to know about the law, like the law board and the law board for both the judge and the lawyer. They need to know that. That's not good. Period. Because that's major. This is not a mistake. This is not like a tiny mistake. You guys took sealed evidence.
Yeah, this was willfully done.
Yeah.
This was willfully done. This was done on purpose. And it was a big case, major headlines, and they wanted to be the people that said, hey, we prosecuted Bill Cosby, one of the greatest entertainers of all time. You know what I'm saying? Right. Untouchable. Right. He's like the black Mr. Rogers, basically. You know what I'm saying? So Mr. Jello Pudding Pop, we're going to put him in jail.
Yeah.
And they succeeded in some way. And they succeeded, you know what I'm saying? In a sense. But this is definitely a slap in the face of the prosecutor and the entire, you know, legal team. That this blowback is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Exactly. And for the women who didn't get in part in that first lawsuit are now fucked in that sense. Like, they'll never see justice because the way the legal team did it was so underhanded that you can't even try this man for these crimes again. It's out the window.
Right. Which that's the sad part on the women's case, JP, is that, you know, this thing's asleep. That's what
no, I'm not. Yeah, it's something.
No, I was saying that's the sad part on the women's side, is because this can now be perceived as a lack of justice on their part. But also, too, again, no dog in the fight. You can shoot me if you want to. People can also look at this and you could have done this a little sooner. But in the same respects, I understand because you can't tell a person that's been wronged like that when is the right time to come out and speak, because you don't know how that person has handled it emotionally, physically, mentally, and all that good stuff. Word. So, you know, there's too much tied to it. But the funny thing is just how people are like celebrating it, and that's what's the crazy part to me.
That's sad.
That's the crazy. What?
I don't know, JP. Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. What? I even heard people even throw a party. Bill Cosby. Y'all just sit the hell down somewhere.
It sounds like somebody got construction going on their side. I just hear a buzzing.
Not me.
Okay, then it might be just me. My bad.
But yeah, go ahead.
They just need to sit. They need to sit the hell down somewhere with that bullshit, man. Man, please. Black people get. Let me stop, man. Just let me stop.
They forgot all the stuff Cosby has said about, you know, sagging jeans and Eddie Murphy and, you know, it's selective memory, bro. It's selective memory.
Go deeper than that. What he said about the black community stuff, about you naming your child to Keisha and this, that, and the third, and pull up the pads and y'all do. Man, y'all get behind anybody, man. Stop it. I don't give a damn. I mean, Bill Cosby did do some good things and stuff.
He did a lot of great things.
Nobody who ain't supporting us. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Sit here talking down to you. I'm supporting him because he's black. Man, shut the hell up.
I think he did a lot of those great things to cover up what he knew he was guilty of. You know what I'm saying?
TJ, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The bottom line is he did a lot of dirty-handed stuff to people we shouldn't have done. And it's a shame because the man was an icon, and I'm sure any woman, you know, would want to sleep with Bill. I should say any woman, excuse me, there's poor choice of words. But a lot of women would sleep with Bill Cosby because of who he was. People need to stop that nonsense. But you know what he did.
You think all the underhanded stuff he did, is that contributed to his son's death?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what went on there.
You know what?
I
He
don't
could have
know.
touched. He could have touched somebody's daughter, and somebody took it into their own hands. Like,
I'm not going to make those assumptions. You know what I mean? The young
it was
man
just a, it's
had
just a
nothing to do with his
question. It's
father.
just a question.
You know,
It's just a
I
question.
know, but I'm just saying, the young man had nothing to do with his father, and he wound up
Yeah,
being
that's
murdered.
conspiracy theory shit.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'm
All
not getting into
No,
that.
no, that's an interesting point, TJ. You never know
It is. But
what circles back to what. That's interesting. I'll leave it at that. That's an interesting question.
It's just a question.
Yeah, it was just a question, but
yeah, I understand.
where we're at now though is we're at the final topic because we didn't have to spend too much time on Cosby. It was just the interestingness of everything that was going on and why he got let out. It was just crazy. Sorry, y'all.
Inexcusable.
But it is just crazy that it happened, and it's inexcusable, like you said, TJ, on that prosecutor and that judge. So, I mean, if anybody wants to point fingers at who did and why this happened, I think all the scrutiny, unfortunately, whether y'all like it or not, it shouldn't even go at Cosby. It should go at those two.
Right. His lawyers did their job. Their job, basically.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor didn't. The prosecutor didn't do his job. That's what it
True
boils down
indeed.
to.
But since we're on the topic of jobs and last topic on jobs, we got to get into this right here. Let me get the audio ready, y'all. Let me get this video up just to show y'all what we about to talk about. We're talking about Ms. Rachel Nichols and the situation that's been going down at ESPN. Let me press play on this for y'all.
They said to me, hey, instead of posting the NBA finals, so post your Jordan Style reported after the NBA finals. So just the never clear away for. For Maria to be the host of this. Yeah. So I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out how to just, my thing is, I didn't really her all the success in the world. She's had her football, she's had her basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record anniversary, by the way, I myself, very personally, from the female side of it, so go for it. Just, find it somewhere else. Like, they're not going to find it with me.
Find it somewhere else because you're not going to find it in me. Interesting words said by Rachel Nichols, where she, in my opinion, that this whole situation, it's multi-layered in the words that were caught on video. In audio. I'm sure unknowingly. I heard it was like a Zoom call or something that I guess whoever was recording it let it go. But yeah, in it she describes how last year in the bubble, and she didn't describe that part because people didn't know. But last year in the bubble, I guess ESPN asked her to step down to do sideline reporting, I guess to give Maria Taylor a shot. We can only assume Maria Taylor because she name dropped Maria Taylor. And we all know, us that that watch like what I forgot what they call the NBA show for that on ESPN, but it rotates between Rachel Nichols sometimes, and once in a while, Maria Taylor also hosts the show. So they wanted Rachel to go back to the sidelines for this time, and she was pretty much like no. And in the process of that, to my opinion, she also called out ESPN's inequities in their diversity. And there's, as a person who's an avid watcher of ESPN, I can kind of beg to differ on the side of diversity thing when it comes to diversity. Now, yeah, as far as black women hosting shows on ESPN, L. Duncan is the only name I can think of, with the exception of, and we're talking about black women, I have to mention Sage Steele, though I don't want to. But with the exception of L. Duncan, who, yeah, she took Sage Steele's 6 o'clock spot. I think Sage Steele is on in the 12 o'clock spot. There isn't many black women who host ESPN shows. So I get it where ESPN wants to try to add that bit of diversity to their programming for hosts is concerned, you know. But I also felt Rachel Nichols because I busted my ass for how many years in this network to get to the spot where I'm at. I did the sideline reporting. She's done sideline reporting, I think, in football occasionally. She's done the NBA forever, but she's always been a sideline reporter for the longest. And she got the leg up and step up to that spot when Michelle Beadle left after her contract was done. And so if I was a person that worked as hard as I did to get to that spot, to be able to get to there, I probably too personally would be hesitant on, I don't want this person to get my, well, not to be like, I don't want this person to get my spot. But if you're asking me to do something and you give me an option, a yes or no, I might say no too. Because, I've worked this hard for this long to get here, especially to have the ability to cover the finals. I want to stay there. Like, let's look at like a Stephen A. Smith. And though his career is much longer, look at the grind that it took for him to be able to be like, he can point the finger of where he wants to go. You know what I'm saying? And do you think a person like him is going to give that spot up to be able to go report and live at the NBA Finals, go report at the national championship game, go to the Super Bowl, you bust your ass in that industry to get to those points. And to let somebody just, we want to try this, but we're asking you yes or no, why would you say yes? But Katara, I know you're going to make a valid point because the corporate world, though this, ESPN is the corporate world, but television is kind of different.
Well,
it
is, but it isn't. No. You have a good point, but that is at ESPN. I'm gonna in this case, in cases like this, and even not even on the subject of even if the person was white, this is corporate America, where one time TJ must have could have done everything correctly. And everything where he gets that so where he should get that case, boom, but they give it to me or whatever because we all applied or whatever. That is exactly all that is corporate America, period. She wants to go after somebody, which she did partly. She needs to cut ESPN. She needs to go after ESPN, and then she needs to do what she has to do. That's what this is about. Now, I do not blame Maria, and again, I don't watch ESPN like some of y'all do, so I don't blame Maria if she went and applied for, or however she did that. I don't blame her for that. If you're going, one thing that I've learned, and I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I'm coming right back out. One thing that I learned that we as women, what we don't do, what men do, and I'm talking in general, is men will go all out. They will push, even if they've only been here for 6 months, they're pushing the button. They're pushing their pay. They're pushing everything. And we as women, we're timid and rightfully so, because we don't want to be seen as hard, as icy. Whereas if a man does it, it's different. So I don't have a problem with Maria pushing and then she got it. Now, how did she get that? Was it because of she was black? No. She got it because corporate America, and it's let me break it down. She got it because corporate America, and that's how they are. One day they're like this, one day they're not that. They're not following all sometimes they don't follow the rules, whereas, okay, John has been here longest, so he needs that. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they don't do that. Is it unfair? Let me explain. Of course it's unfair. Of course it is. I'm not saying it's not. That if she deserves that or whatever, fight it. But don't bring in somebody who, because she could have been white and they could have done the same thing. And let me tell you, they will. Don't bring in somebody and their race and put it down like that when it's not even them. Let that person live. Let black, and I'm going to bring it and I'm going to go there. Let black women live. Period. Go to ESPN and be like, I've been here longer than this woman, and don't even bring up race. Don't even say, shh, you know what about race? Say, hey, this is not fair. I've been here longer than her, blah, blah, blah. Break it down. Once you bring up race, I don't want to hear it.
I totally agree with you, but you have to look at it from this point, though. Positions like those aren't, I applied for it. Like, no, these are appointment type jobs. You get appointed to these things. So hear me out now. As Rachel called them out in that recorded conversation. And yes, unfortunate that she name dropped Maria Taylor, right? But it can be seen as it was done with purpose, because as she said, because you guys want to make right for your problems with diversity. She called the executive, the executive she talked to, she called them out on that directly. It wasn't a direct shot, in my opinion. Only my opinion. It wasn't a direct shot at Maria. To me,
I get that.
It wasn't a direct shot at Maria. It was you guys at ESPN, you guys have the problem with the diversity, but now you want to play Highlander. There can only be one, and make me the sacrifice for her.
I get that.
When I busted my ass for this job to get here. So you're giving me an option. I said no. She said no.
Right. No. I get that. But at the end of the day, she can whatever. At the end of the day, how many times that black people have, since we're taking it to race, okay, let's bring it to race. How many times have black people done that? Now she's
right.
now she gets this little bit of this. She gets a little bit of what we feel, and that's not even a lot, because I'm sure she has I'm sure they'll put her to. Even if she does it, she has 10,000 other options than Marie or whoever else does it. But so okay, fine, but keep it like how it is. Don't sit here and talk to it as Zoom. Go to ESPN and say it. Once you bring it, like once I talk, like, okay, Dan, if we go sit here and I'm talking, like, I don't like TJ because TJ took my job in a Zoom. But
the thing about the conversation was, when more context came out about the conversation, it was an ESPN executive talking to her about the network wanting to. I don't know if it was an exec or not. I'm assuming it was an exec.
It wasn't an executive.
It wasn't.
All right.
No, it was actually somebody that worked for LeBron James, allegedly.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes. It was his advisor. Thank you, JP. It was one of LeBron James' advisors. And yes, so she should take it to ESPN if that was the problem. Totally, we agree there, Katara. You don't have to beat me up for that no more. We totally agree there.
I'm not beating you up.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not. But I'm just because I want to throw it to TJ and then JP.
Okay,
but,
go ahead.
Yes, thank you, JP. It was one of LeBron's advisors that came out, and then there was stuff that came out about him that's irrelevant to this right now. But she made those statements calling out the network and stating again, you want to take me out because you have your diversity problems. The fact that the whole race issue of it was them calling out the diversity problem. She called it out, but unfortunately, again, Maria Taylor was in the crossfire because they are like, one of the things that came out with her is that she's trying to push to get a new deal. She's trying to push to get more money. I'm personally one who's
Taylor?
Yes, because her contract's almost up. Her contract's almost up, and it goes back to what we mentioned when we mentioned the NCAA situation. You can ask for what you want, That doesn't mean they have to give it to you. You know,
right?
And
No, exactly. But I think she has a right to, and I know you're getting to that, but I'm saying she has a right to ask, and if they give it to her,
yeah, no,
good.
all good, yeah, all
Right.
good. Like I said, my opinion behind that was, I think she needs to put more time in. She needs to put a little more legwork in because she's still fairly new. She's still
Right,
fairly
but-
new, but she's been doing
but-
her thing. But what I
then you
wanted
gotta
to
look-
get to, what I wanted
Oh,
to
go
get
ahead.
to was Rachel Nichols kind of also spoke on the whole diversity issue thing from first the standpoint of being a
Women.
woman, when she
Right.
said, I understand that because we've had this problem with women overall. But so now, yes, now why this whole thing spins bad is because it happened to be a black woman that was being spoken on.
right,
TJ.
right.
Go ahead, Qatar.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
okay,
Qatar.
real quick. To me, it's like I said, if she went, granted it's COVID, but forget COVID for a minute. If she went personally to the ESPN executives and wellly explained her point, nobody needs to know. Okay, that's fine. Welly, but going to other, and this is what some people do, which gets them in trouble. You go to other people, and like you said, perspective is everything. And right, to an extent, white women, okay, but white women do get maybe the short end, maybe at something, maybe at ESPN it's more. I get that to an extent, but she should have. There's a proper way to do that. She went to an advisor of LeBron. I mean, and granted, you know, we all like to blow off steam. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful who you talk to. She could have gone to an ESPN and say, listen, that's your problem with it. You need to fix this diversity problem. She didn't.
But this is no. Well, you can't say she didn't, because this is where we lack even more context within that conversation, because she probably might have, and what she's now doing is it can be perceived as she's talking to a friend about said situation.
Well, that's what I
and
was going
laid
to
it
get
out.
to.
Go ahead, TJ.
That's what I was going to get to first and foremost. Like, she said this in the confidence of people that wouldn't bring this back out to light. So first and foremost, she said that with complete trust that what was being said was going to be kept between those people, or not more extended outside that circle. So that was fucked up. 1. 2, she said what she said in terms of the whole diversity thing. She spoke about, like Dan said, women first. And I get what she was trying to do when she was saying Maria Taylor. She worked hard. She's not trying to give up her slot like that. She's going to fight for a slot, albeit the best way to fight for a slot. No. Which is what you're saying, Qatar. She didn't address it with the people she needed to address it with. She was speaking to her friends, or somebody she thought was a friend anyway. And in terms of Maria asking for Stephen A money, like you said, Dan, you know, time is everything. Like, you got to put in the time. You say Stephen A, the average casual person knows who Stephen A is. That's why he's getting the money he's getting. You say Maria Taylor, and it's like, who? What?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know who she was.
Right.
A lot of people didn't know who she was.
But I understand you, Qatar. Closed mouths don't get fed. Ask what you want to ask for, and then have a number in your head saying, okay, I'm going to ask for the ceiling. If I get a couple of feet below the ceiling, I'm happy, because that's what I would have wanted anyway. If I started there, I would have never got that money. I've done negotiation for 10 years in the car business. If you don't ask for the world, and you're not going to get it, you know what I'm saying? But there's compromise to be made somewhere in the middle. So indeed, you know, this is just what, like you said, 101 for job interview. You know, then when they ask you what you're looking for, say, came here thinking I'm getting this amount, whatever that position is. And they said, well, we're only offering this, but we can meet somewhere in the middle. But if you start at the bottom, you're negotiating already at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? If you don't ask for the top, there's nowhere else to, I mean, like, if you start at the bottom, there's nowhere else you can go. If you start at the top, you can fall somewhere in the middle. So
But
absolutely.
context we lack. But context we lack from said conversation, JP, is that we don't know, because Katara's made the great points of she needs to take this to the network, but we don't know if this conversation was post she took it to the network already.
Real quick, before you go to JP, is that why they didn't suspend her and kept her on the show? Because she brought it to them, and then she actually called, somebody leaked it that she's calling them out. Right. So there's no crime committed because they're guilty. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a Paul Pierce situation where
which that could be the missing context that the fact that she wasn't really. I think she was off one night, and that was it. And she was right back because that could be ESPN saying, yeah, we didn't pay attention to what you asked us and told us before, because that's the context that's left out of this conversation that the world is talking about. Nobody's talking about the rest of the what was said in the rest of the conversation. Was the rest of the conversation that I told this to ESPN and now we're getting the snippet of the after I said this to ESPN, blankety blank 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 blank, what got released. Right. What got released. And not saying not saying that the audio is edited as far as modifications of what, exactly what was said, but that much as far as I know how to edit conversations. I can chop a piece of this, I could chop up conversations if I wanted to, or what we're saying now, and make TJ say I support Bill Cosby and F these people. It not saying that call didn't do that. I'm just stating the fact that a large piece of this conversation was left off. So she could have very well been to and went to the network. Might have even fought for Maria Taylor. We don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Because anything like that, ESPN is quick to shut you down and get you off the air as quick as possible. So
we seen what happened to Paul Pierce with his after curricular activities.
Right. It was the same day.
Let me say this here about this whole situation. We shouldn't make assumptions because she said what she said, period. I doubt very seriously she went to ESPN talking about some diversity. She was very, very wrong with her comments, and it was racist. I'm going to keep it 100. Because she said, not only there, she went about the whole Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff, laughing about it and everything. So, yeah. I'm a person like
that was in another conversation. That part was in another conversation. No. It was part of the same. That part was in another conversation with separate people. And the guy and LeBron's advisor was the one that made the Black Lives Matter comments and stuff. And she mentioned, and the whole Black Lives Matter.
But it tells me a lot about how she feels, though. That's my whole point. It tells me about a lot how she feels. And I would be 100% sure she didn't go to ESPN and talk about some damn diversity. Okay, we talk about how long she's been there. Okay, how long was Jemele Hill there? And if you want to take it, and if we want to really take it there, how about Lisa Salters? I think she was there before her, right? How come Lisa Salters hasn't done the jump?
Well, maybe Lisa Salters. Well, hold on. You mentioned Lisa Salters. Maybe Lisa Salters likes her, and Lisa Salters wasn't doing NBA. Lisa Salters is NFL.
Lisa Salters has done NBA. She has been a sideline reporter for the NBA.
No, you're right. But the difference is maybe she enjoys doing sideline because she still does sideline.
But what I'm saying is, I can remember Lisa Salters from the early 2000s, late 90s. So if Rachel Nichols was to sit up there and say that, how is she going to sit up there and say that? Well, number one, let's understand something. Nobody has benefited from affirmative action more than white women. Let's understand that as well.
That's what I was trying to get at.
I wanted to get there too. I wanted to get there too because as like when Katara was mentioning those points, right? I wanted to say that, you know what? White women always tend to benefit off of black women's movements.
Yes.
Not all. And from the supporter, from the ally to the racist one. They've always benefited off of.
And let's understand too, Maria Taylor has worked hard to where she got to. Let's understand it too. And another thing is too, Maria Taylor was an athlete. She knows that. She was a Division I basketball player at Georgia. She was a Division I volleyball player at Georgia, so she knows the game. What was Rachel Nichols? Did she ever play any sports that we can recall?
True indeed.
And you know, I like Rachel Nichols before these comments. I thought she was good when she did every day. But you know what they say, behind closed doors, you really see how people really think. You really see how they really think. And what she did that's really her. And like I said, it's not borderline racist. It was racist what she said. And all the other stuff that goes along with it. So, you know, like I said, she's a beneficiary of affirmative action. And like I said, there have been black women at ESPN before her. So she really needs to really fall back on what she's saying.
Great point.
Because black women have always been at the bottom of the barrel, have always been at the bottom of the barrel of anything, any type of job we talk about here. So no, Rachel Nichols is wrong.
But to ESPN, and again, I totally agree, because as long as I've been watching ESPN, the black women that's hosted shows on ESPN has been very limited. But it goes back to her calling out the network as she did. And how many of those same black women were even offered those opportunities? You know,
did she really call the network? Did she really call the network? Or was it something that's going to benefit her as a white woman?
No. I get, if I could play the audio again where I said, just where she said, because you guys have those diversity issues, and I understand them being a woman. She didn't say it like being a white woman, being a woman. I understand them. She said being a woman, and I understand them and know them firsthand. That's what she said in the conversation.
But her conversation was problematic. We can go gloss over that one part. Let's talk about the other 95% of what she said, which was problematic. So I can't give her that 1 point of that, because what she said was very problematic.
What you brought in was from a different conversation.
I'm saying just overall.
I can play the audio again so we can listen to what
I
was said.
I've heard the audio 50 million times. Still not going to convince me that what she said was problematic.
Well, I feel you. But it's to what she said on this, the Black Lives Matter comments and things like that was from a different.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying in general.
Did bring it up. No, right, but you brought it up before.
But we're not talking about it right now. We're talking about what she said on the audio.
Right. And I'm just re-describing to you what she mentioned as far as the diversity. She pulled it up as women first. She said women and being a woman.
See, you get stuck on that one part, but with the rest of it, what she said though during that conversation.
I'm not going to get stuck on it again. We're going to play it again, so I'm not going to get stuck on it, because I'm not trying to cross up my words at all. I'm not trying to cross up anything or get stuck on. I am mentioning. Oh shit! I messed it up again. My bad, y'all. But I'm trying to pull it up. I got it playing. I just forgot to click. I forgot to click the so you can hear the audio. We've just been looking at a screen again. But here we go. Let's listen to this again.
Because guess what that was literally for Maria to do the hosting for us. So I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out how to just, my thing is that I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy one-time record anniversary, which by the way, I myself, know personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just, find it somewhere else.
So she called them out for their long time, like she said, long time issues with diversity. And she mentioned Maria Taylor because, yes, Maria Taylor, as I mentioned before, has hosted not the jump, but the finals and the NBA games during the season and stuff like that.
Here's why. Hold on.
Hold on. Let me finish this.
No, real quick. Real quick.
Go ahead.
The reason Maria Taylor's name was brought up was because right before that they said they want her to do the finals, and she was like, "Who, Maria?"
Oh, and also TJ,
and then he was like,
nobody's mentioning that. Oh, she threw Doris Burke's name in it. Hey, we want you to do Doris Burke's job.
See,
okay, Doris Burke is an announcer though. She does a great job, by the way.
But Doris Burke does sideline reporting for ESPN also. So hey, let's move.
Okay.
So listen. So hey, let's move Doris Burke out the way, and how about you do this job? Which she said she declined because then they would bring Maria Taylor to her spot on covering. You know the she did the show that goes in between halftime and the front and the end.
Right.
So
and what she meant by those statements was, because all this stuff is going on and yada, yada, yada. Let's be real. This time last year, this country was in an uproar this time last year. So basically, she was talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and all this stuff that corporate America put on TV about black people and all the spectacle shows and stuff. That's what she was talking about. Let's not even play those games.
You're right. We can assume that that's what was said, but that's why she also threw it at the end. But she didn't say that if we're talking about facts. The words were typed out on the screen.
When she said that stuff going on, what do you think she was talking about?
She's racist. You said she's racist. We got
I didn't say she was, hold on. I said the comments were racist. I said the comments was racist. It was racist comments as far as I'm concerned. Being a racist and making racist comments are two different things. But to me, the comments were racist as far as I'm concerned with the full conversation.
All right, I have a question. Something to think about. Had she not had her and nothing like this happened, she was hosting whatever she feels she needs to host. Everything was copacetic. Would she say these things had her job wasn't in jeopardy or anything else?
The conversation
saying these things
because the conversation would have never been had.
Exactly. No. Listen to my I'm sorry. One quick, TJ. That's what I'm saying. Had her job not been threatened, but had she got whatever host, she hosts, because I don't know what they're talking about, she wouldn't have said anything. She would have zipped her lips and still would have gone on about her business.
Right.
No, right, but that point there really doesn't equate to much to me, because
she's saying she would always had those thoughts.
She could have had, but who knows if those thoughts could have possibly never came out, because guess what?
Right.
Somebody else wasn't being mentioned in doing my job. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly. No. That's exactly, and you're right. But that's exactly, if Maria stayed at the low position she was, nothing happened. She wouldn't have said anything. She would have stayed quiet. That's my point. Granted, what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. What you're saying is she wouldn't have talked about the diversity issue at all. She would have stayed quiet because her job would have been threatened.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. If they never were requesting that change, this wouldn't have happened. And we could say quiet as kept all we want, but I watch her on TV enough to know how much. Take this how y'all want, people. She's shown herself to be an ally in a lot of these situations with a lot of the commentary that she does, opening the shows and closing the shows. Normally she does like a little 3 or 4 minute spot or piece talking about situations.
You're right.
You can go pull
That don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing.
It doesn't
Anybody
mean
can talk that bullshit.
Right,
JP.
It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing.
She's not an ally. She clearly is not an ally.
Hold on, but see again. But this is how this can get twisted. It doesn't mean anything until that one thing is said. That's what you're telling me right now. It doesn't mean anything until that one thing is said. And anything that was
She's
said before
showing who
prior,
she is. Did you see Ryan? Did you see Ryan Clark?
That's what I'm saying.
Did you see Ryan Clark's Twitter? Did you see what he said? Oh, you all get like this in front of the cameras. We see how you are behind closed doors. Did you see Jalen Rose was very upset about it? Did you see even Rojo? Even Rojo was talking about boycotting. So apparently it is problematic.
No, I get.
No.
I'm not talking against you either. I'm not talking against any of this. I'm just bringing up points. I'm not talking any against you. I'm bringing up points for conversation.
Just because a white person says something that we agree with, and all of a sudden they say something does not mean that they're an ally. Period.
I get it. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Quick question, what has, and I'm just asking because I don't know her. What has she said, like in before and after, like as far as?
I don't have specific moments recited, but talking when George Floyd incident, she's talked in behalf of. When Breonna Taylor's things happened, she's talked on behalf of.
Trendy.
When other people was killed all the years, she's talked of. Yeah, it can be looked at it can be looked at as that now. Okay. If there's what I and that's to the point. That's to the point. I'm just saying to you, JP. Yeah, it can be looked at as trendy now because the way the comments were said are being perceived now. But if these comments never came out, never seen the light of day, or were never said, because like Katara said, if ESPN never came to her and said, hey, we want to do a change, and she said no, but furthered this conversation on with somebody else, the views of people can be different and still see her the way they saw her before this. But now it changed a lot of people's opinions the way you are speaking right now. That's all I'm saying. Well,
the sheets have been uncovered.
Hey, it's just like the Cosby situation. Everybody looked at Cosby as this, again, America's dad, wholesome individual till the pound cake speech. Then some people carried Cosby still as this America's dad, wholesome individual, while a segment of us said, nah, fuck that, we seen who you are. But still people carried him to this until the rape allegations came. Then a majority of America said, nah, fuck him, let him rot in jail, while a small sliver of people still seen Cosby as that. All I'm mentioning is it sometimes when it comes to people in situations like this, it's just that one moment that can flip a switch and make you completely, yeah, you did what you did, but fuck all of that. And that's, to me, that's how I feel.
What has she done? Anybody get on TV and talk. What has she done? Besides talking. What black issues has she been involved with?
I'm not going in on that. I'm just debating. I'm just talking about how you are now describing the situation. Now she made racist statements. Now that's all I'm saying is it just takes sometimes. Just
because we might like Rachel Nichols doesn't mean that she's absolved for being what she said.
And I'm with you. All I was doing was describing how the switch can be flipped on one person's thinking of a person. That's all I'm saying. Because if Katara's situation happened, as she mentioned, of if she was never presented with this, hey, we want you to do this, then none of this, we wouldn't even be talking about it as a segment because nothing would have changed. Nothing would be different. That's all I'm saying. I'm just adding on to what Katara was mentioning. You know, and people would still look at her as, yeah, making these, because we talk about this all the time, JP. What has people done? And we all know these social justice warriors, a lot of them, all they do is just, and it's just that. It's just that. But a lot of people feel a way of, oh, you didn't comment on this, you didn't make a post about that. You just looking as you want to be perceived as, you know what I'm saying? Like people just sometimes just want to be perceived as. So we can look at Rachel Nichols and all the things she said on behalf of black folks in the past as, yeah, trendy, just look like, you know, but for a person like yourself and many of others, the switch was flipped is all I'm saying. The switch was flipped. And now we look at it differently. Even I look at it differently behind this. I get what she's saying, but I see your side also. You know, but it is what it is. Because like TJ mentioned, it don't look like shit's gonna happen because she back on TV.
Right.
She back on TV.
So ESPN is trying to save their face right now. because they're owned by the clown ears, the mouse ears. So, you know, if the mouse ears say they're gonna clean house, then that's all the top getting cleaned out. So
right. My
people
major
are looking
thing
over their
behind this-
shoulders.
Yeah, my major thing behind this for women is like I was just trying to describe when we briefly talked about this pre-show, is I'm comparing this to how they do in rap, mainstream rap specifically. Why is it that when it comes to women, there can only be one? Like a lot of people, when it comes to rap, they always think, oh, there has to be one woman who's on top. Why can't it be Cardi, Meg, Rhapsody, and say Shay Noir, and why can't it be all of them? Why can't it be all of them up front? Why does it have to be one woman? You know what I'm saying? That's my problem behind this. Why does it have to be one woman?
Because
and that's oh, go ahead.
They compare them to the men when they lump them all together in terms of top, then they get pushed way down, and that's wrong in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not looking at the individual, they're looking at the group. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not comparing the actual skill of the woman MC to the man's skill. So that gets pushed down.
Right.
The scales are uneven. Go ahead, Katara.
No, you're right. And that's what I'm going to ESPN. ESPN is controlling that. ESPN is putting that out, not anybody else. And I get she was saying that to a trusted confidant. Fine. But
she was upset that ESPN was pitting them against each other. What the real problem was.
That's what it looked like to me the most, TJ.
But I get that. But if we're going to move as women, if that's what she wants, you have to say it to the. And granted, she was voicing frustration. At the end of the day, you have to say that to ESPN. You have to speak out. And this is what I'm going back to. We as women, we like to not rock the boat. She should have went to and I'm not saying she didn't, but if she didn't, she should have went to ESPN and said what she said to what's his name to ESPN like that. Don't pit us together. Do what you have. Do whatever you need to do, but do not pit us together. If she deserves that job. Just
especially
say it.
If it's a lack of representation of women on the network as it is, you shouldn't be pitting them against each other.
Right.
With as much of the male programming that's on there. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, call ESPN. Tell them. I mean, tell them obviously in a respectful way. Don't come up.
What would have helped if she did something like that? If she had the contingent, if she went to the contingent of women in the group and been like, "Yo, listen, I'm coming to all y'all as a group to speak out for us to get more positions and better programming, like the men already have." And this is what the diversity would have been truly about. And she would have had a much better leg to stand on if she said when she said them comments that she said. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't do that. We all know she didn't do that. So
Well,
and I agree with that. She could have, there's other ways she could have handled
Rally
it.
the troops,
Huh?
Rally the troops.
Rally the troops.
But just a look from another side, though. And this is all this is, just look from another side. A rallying of the troops can be done, right? But you're still going to have your personal feelings behind the situation.
Right.
A rallying of the troops can still be done no matter what. But you, again, like behind closed doors,
you have your own agenda.
I'm like, he mentioned Ryan Clark. So I'll just utilize the name Ryan Clark. I don't want that nigga Dominique Foxworth to take what I got.
Right.
I'm going to say that behind closed doors to, again, confidential ears and confidential head. And then now guess what that person, whoever was just listening to you, did? Now they just pitch you against Dominique Foxworth when that could be your man. And y'all could even say that to each other on some, yo, that's my nigga, saying it literally like that. Like, yo, that's my nigga. I don't even want to, but the person that you're speaking confidentially to doesn't know that. And now spun you into Ryan Clark versus Dominique Foxworth.
It's a manufactured beef.
We don't know. Rachel and Maria probably had the conversation since this happened. They probably have. We can Well, I'm not going to assume because we only are talking speculation off of this audio that we had. We can assume, we could assume doubt. We could assume they did.
It was
I don't know.
reported that Rachel did reach out to Monica, and Monica had not responded. So, who knows if and when they had? If
She's doing that because she got public pressure on her. That's the reason why she's doing it. It's not out of I'm really kind-hearted and I feel this way. Nah, because the heat is on.
Hey,
and you always, but you always got to be right. But you always got to be careful. You're on a Zoom saying, granted, that's your confidant, but you're still on a Zoom. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful. Period. And also, you know what I'm saying?
And also, we got to remember, one of the black women I think who work underneath her or has reported Rachel Nichols before for some of the stuff that she allegedly said as well. Apparently, so she has issues with people. So this ain't the first go around for Ms. Rachel Nichols.
Right. But like I said before, though, that flip of the switch, now more of these things are coming out. So we're going to learn more. We're going to learn more. Just like how they tried to throw out there, she was banging Jimmy Butler allegedly at the bubble. How many other NBA dudes is she banging allegedly? We ain't getting involved in either. I'm just saying. I'm throwing air quotes up in the air.
We don't know.
Like I said, I'm throwing air quotes in the air. Allegedly, a lot of things can be happened, but these things are now being the covers being pulled up on these things now. Because why? That one flip of the switch, that one piece of controversy opened up the doors for now everybody's going to be in your business. Now more shit's going to be out there about you. And we're going to find over the time, unless they let this shit die, more and more and more and more and more stuff is going to come out about Rachel Nichols. That's going to change a lot of people's tunes about her. And hey, you know what? So be it, because you trusted the wrong person. It's like those suckers online who screenshot everything. And then because you didn't say something in their favor, now all of a sudden they want to start throwing screenshots out there on you. You know what I'm saying?
Hate is a real thing.
And trust, sometimes you can't trust everybody. But I got to say, that shit was good, y'all.
That shit good.
We back. We got 2 hours in. That shows we was long. Katara, man, you went off today. Like, normally you're the quiet reserve, but you let this whole month and a half come out in this episode. You know what to do.
Well, and it was. Now that I noticed it, I was kind of outspoken. But just shout out to, since we're on the topic, shout out to the women who are pushing in the right way to do for their careers. It's now is not the time to be quiet. If you want something, go for it. And like TJ said, go somewhere high, then compromise in the middle and starting low. I'm guilty of doing this too. In the past, I took a job and I ended up hating it, and the pay was because of that. Now is the time to start doing what you want. Even if and even apply for a job that you even think that you're not qualified. You never know what's going to happen. Reach for the stars, because men do this. They've been doing this for a long time. Women, let's step it up. That's my final thoughts.
That's right. The sky's the limit, JP, and the ceiling is the roof.
And Qatar, I want to thank you for those words right there, because that really, I'm thinking about some changes too. That really helped me right there with what you just said, by the way.
You was in my mind too as soon as she said that. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
No shade. No shade. No. I really was thinking of specifically at JP with those exact words Katara said. No shade at all. He knows what's up.
Yeah. Shout outs, of course, to y'all. Shout outs to the bear, brother TJ, sister Qatar. Yeah, I gotta say one thing to TJ, man. Why you pass up that pass in that game that Ben Simmons pass? You light skin catching something else, man. Let me stop.
See, JP, I wasn't gonna roast you today. First show back, I wasn't gonna roast you, JP. Always
it's been a minute, brother. It's been a minute, brother, but damn it, like you said, damn, it feels good to be back, man. It does feel good to be back. You know, doing the show with y'all, man. Definitely.
TJ, it's your turn now. Serve this fool.
Oh boy!
Serve this fool. Let him.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let him know. Let him know that
Man's not hot.
he got to know that, yo.
So first and foremost, give a shout out to the First Lady, Miss Katara, being on the outspoken tip today. We need more of that, Katara. Get that voice out there, get heard. Let these people know what you really think. You know what I'm saying? No. And shout out to the mayor, of course, bringing us back, forming up. You know, this has been a long time coming. I've definitely missed this. Love talking to you guys and reaching out there. And to the man who taught Ben Simmons how to shoot outside of 6 feet. All them days you was babysitting him, JP, and you couldn't fucking teach this kid not one time to shoot a jump shot. Scared to shoot a free throw. I'm embarrassed for you, JP. I will not recommend you on babysitter.com whatsoever. All right. Kings of the second round. You guys have done it again, JP. I don't know how you maintain such consistency with Philly losing in the second round like that.
You deserve it. But hey, it's better to be a Sixer than a Dick.
No, it's not. It's not. It never has been worse. The process has been broken from day one.
The process is a failure.
It wasn't Brett Brown's fault.
Failure.
And it's not Doc Rivers'
Brown
fault
played
either.
a big part in it.
No. They all suck.
Did.
They all suck.
Mikal Bridges? Zaire Smith, Mikal Bridges? Since Zaire Smith was in there, you sound like you were classy early. Talk about Zaire Smith is going to be the next Kawhi Leonard.
JP, it's over. It's over.
It's not over. It's not over.
The window's closed. You guys can't buy a free agent. You guys can't buy a free agent. It's over. It's okay.
No, it's not over. It's not over.
All right. I'm done, Dan.
Yeah, well, this show is over. This show is over. Mr. fucking Clee Anthony Early and Ben Simmons arguing.
Oh boy! Wow!
Y'all are terrible.
Wow!
Y'all are terrible. But Katari, you're never terrible. You were great. Definitely great today. You know. But yeah, I mean, hey, shit, people, shit gets heated. We got to talk about shit that's just going on. One thing we forgot about. We're going to talk about it next week. Please remember that as y'all remember to start commenting on the show, but commenting in our group message. We got to talk about Scotty tripping. We totally forgot about Scotty tripping.
Yeah.
Totally
and the Mount Laurel situation. We'll bring that up next week.
Ooh,
that
please.
too. Black folks stand up. Black folks
shout outs to all the people who were out there. I know some of them that was out there actually. Shout outs to you all for being out there and representing.
Come see
that
me.
was hilarious.
You don't want that smoke. You did not want that smoke when they did come out there to see you. Because real quick, shout outs as well, because I know Willenboro represented, and I heard Camden was out there representing. So shout outs to them.
Word up. Word up. That dude, that day, he definitely wasn't. Definitely wasn't gangbanging. He definitely wasn't gangbanging. He definitely his tune changed up like it's something about it was we're gonna save that for next week because we got so overwhelmed with just trying to let the air out and speak on these things that we knew these topics was going to be heavy today, but we brought it today. Shout outs to the couple people who watched us live. Thank you for your support. Small support goes a long way. And I ain't got nothing else to say. With that being said, for everybody here, we out. Peace. We'll see y'all next week. I think we'll see y'all next week.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.